Okay, so we have 90s art. I found that art in the 90s was kind of hard to find, especially in these smaller countries. Throughout this presentation, I will show you some of music, literature, fashion, and artwork. In the United States, some popular artists that you might know today were the Red Hot Chili Peppers, the Backstreet Boys, Green Day, and Whitney Houston had a song, sang a song that she didn't write it, that is I Will Always Love You. Some popular styles were soul, pop, and jazz. The last couple slides, there's slides after each country that has pictures and music from each one. Some fashion in the 90s were high-waisted, rolled-up, whitewashed jeans, baggy t-shirts, denim jackets, and button-up shirts. I was talking to my aunt because she was a teenager and in the 90s. So kind of the end of her teen years, but she said she always wore her dad's button-up shirts. United States art. Culture jamming was one really popular style. An example of this is someone took the word love in Coca-Cola font and changed it to say love profit, which there's a picture at the end of that. New styles called attention to social issues. Noticeable difference. More and more paintings were on walls and not on canvases. I know that started in the 80s, but it was really continuing. There was also a development in internet art, but it only lasted in the 90s. United States literature. One famous book I'm going to talk about is in the 90s that was written in the 90s was Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. One random fact about this is that it was the last book that Dr. Seuss wrote in his lifetime. So here's the Love Profit Coca-Cola right here. Can you see? There you go. These are like whitewashed jeans, tucked in shirts. There was another person right over here wearing a button-up shirt. And then here's a link which I will send to Miss Habercorn to listen to if you want to. India fashion. They always wore a lot of chokers, off-the-shoulder tops, overalls. They liked dark lips, rounded sunglasses, and high-waisted pants. One famous artist, Makbul Fida Hussain, I don't know, and some others formed the Progressive Artist Group. They identified with Marxism and embraced international modern art practices. Another member of the Progressive Art Group, Francis Newton Souza, gained international notoriety for his erotic and religious paintings. There are some interesting ones, but yeah. So here's one of his paintings. I tried to find one that was appropriate, and this is the choker, the off-the-shoulder top, like that, and I will send a link of that too. Egyptian fashion. They started to move more away from fashion and back to conservative ideologies, so it was a lot of like head dresses and different things to cover up their hair and make sure there was no cleavage or anything like that. Egyptian art. Artists in the 90s were less concerned with cultural themes. Their works challenged the audience to interact with themes from daily life. So Miss Habercorn can look that up, or I can try and send a picture of that. Here's an Egyptian song, which I'll leave the link to. And I couldn't find too much information about the music itself, but yeah. Alright, so we're moving on to Brazil. I know that Brazil film life isn't really art, but I thought it was cool. In the 90s, the film industry suffered as a result of Collor's policy. Collor was the president. Small theaters had to close while bigger ones had to fight to stay open, but gained more popularity. Televisions were harder and harder to find and to get your hands on. Requebra was Fox's first Brazilian co-production and debuted in December of 1999. Brazilian music. In the 1990s, the rise of the Mamonas Assassins, which sold more than 3 million copies of its only CD, came to a tragic end when the band's plane crashed. All of the members died, along with the pilot and co-pilot. They were a rock band. Artur Barrio was an artist who lived in Brazil. His work consisted of installation pieces that interact with the public. This is just a picture of him. Brazil fashion. Rosanne Collor de Mello shared her opinion in clothes by matching purses and shoes with her outfits. There's a picture. So here she has like purple shoes, a purple dress, and then like the same purse as her. Oops. It was like that. And then this was her wearing all black, having a little like sash and a little purse. And all right, and that's some of the art. And there's the Assassin's music right about there. South African music. Art in South Africa changed a lot. Newfound freedom brought optimism to all the South African peoples. South African fine art entered the stage. One really popular group that I have heard about before is the Springbok Nude Girls. Was the finest rock band in the 90s. They did a lot of guitar-driven sounds. There is a song right here that is pretty catchy, actually. Here's a picture of some of their art. I couldn't find too much, but that's one of the paintings that one of the people did. And that's the end of the presentation. I will be sending links for the music and other pictures if you want to listen to that.